Yo guys, InsaneGamer52 here, and today I'm going to give you a bunch of tips on how to complete all the Cowabunga Cranked Easter eggs in Black Ops 6 Zombies. This is more so going to be a general tips and tricks video giving you a bunch of advice that applies to pretty much all the maps. But I will also be making separate videos going in depth on each map individually, so feel free to check out the description to see if those have released yet. Starting things off, the absolute number one tip is don't flip the rounds when it's not absolutely necessary. It's fine to go for quick kills in the early rounds since you need to open up the map and get your essential perks and Pack-a-Punch, but once you're set up, you should only kill when you need to extend your timer. Every kill gives you 10 seconds towards your timer, so try to only kill one zombie at a time when you need more than 10 seconds. Of course, there are exceptions to this, like some Easter egg steps require you getting to a certain round or getting kills to fill up a soul box. Killing for these is fine and required for the Easter egg, but try not to overdo it otherwise. Every round that you progress reduces your max timer by up to 5 seconds. Even just going 3 or 4 rounds can drop you by 20 seconds, so you really want to be careful. Pizza Slice power-ups will give you 30 seconds to your timer, and the Pizza Pie power-up will give you your full timer back, so you can try to time picking these up to need even less kills. If you run any of the 4 Ninja Turtle skins, you will take 50% less damage from behind, and if you run the Splinter skin, you will get increased Pizza Slice power-up drops. For your loadout, there are a couple of different options that can definitely make things easier. As far as weapons, I recommend using the GS45 on Liberty Falls and Terminus, the GPR on Citadelle Des Morts, and the ASG89 on the Tomb. If you are super confident with being accurate, you can also use the D13 sector for Terminus or Citadel. This thing absolutely fries, but its slower rate of fire can make it difficult to do the rest of the Easter egg to get to the boss fight. As far as Gobblegums, I highly recommend using Wonder Bar and Hidden Power if you have them. Using Wonder Bar to get any of the Wonder Weapons from the box on Liberty Falls, Terminus, or the Tomb could save you quite a bit of rounds, which lets you get to the boss fight at as low of a round as possible. And since you want to go in as low as possible, using Hidden Power to get that immediate legendary rarity can be absolutely massive. Other good gums to help you set up are Perkaholic, Profit Sharing, Who's Keeping Score, and Temporal Gift. Getting all your perks right off the bat saves you a ton of essence, which lets you just use it to get your gun Pack-a-Punch level 2 or even Pack 3. In co-op matches, Profit Sharing can be a huge help. You can use it on round 2, and it will last until round 5 or 6, which could get your entire team 20,000 or more essence before you even leave spawn. The best way to do this is to have the person who used the Profit Sharing be the only one who's getting kills, since their money is shared with everyone. The other players can just get a kill every so often to keep their timer up. Combining this with the double points is huge, and even bigger if you use a Temporal Gift to make that double points last for a full minute. You get boosted points in this mode, and the biggest boost is getting twice as much for all headshots, which stacks with double points for 4 times the normal essence. The Gobblegums you want to bring in for boss fights can change per map, but in general, the biggest ones are going to be Timeout, Power Keg, and Near-Death Experience for co-op. Timeout pauses everyone's timer for 3 whole minutes, and the timer is probably the most common way to die. It does flip the round though, so after that 3 minutes is up, your timer will be a bit shorter. Your field upgrade in this mode gives you 1 minute of a pause timer, which is huge for boss fights. Bringing in a Power Keg will spawn a full power-up, which hopefully lets your entire team always have their field upgrade ready. Near-Death Experience enables you to keep killing while reviving teammates, and it also revives the teammates with all the perks that they went down with, plus you can get 5 revives per use. It doesn't work with timer deaths, but is very useful for regular downs in boss fights. Other good Gobblegums for boss fights are Idolize, Raindrops, Killjoy, Phoenix Up, Free Fire, Arsenal Accelerator, and Shields Up. Idolize will make it so that all the regular zombies won't attack you, but the bosses will. It doesn't stop your timer, but it does make it so that you don't have to worry about zombies damaging you for 30 seconds. It's super useful for Terminus and the Tomb to get a lot of damage out without getting hit. Raindrop spawns one of each power-up, and full power, max armor, insta-kill, and max ammo can all be very useful. For that same reason, even just a regular Killjoy can be very useful on every map except for Citadel. For some reason, insta-kill doesn't boost your damage against the Citadel boss, but it does for all the other boss fights. Phoenix Up revives all your down teammates, and they keep their perks. It's like a one-time use near-death experience. Free Fire gives you unlimited ammo for 1 minute, which lets you put out a whole lot of damage on any of the bosses. Arsenal Accelerator makes kills charge your field upgrade a lot quicker, which is great for your personal 1-minute timer pause. It doesn't affect your teammates though, which is why I recommend Power Keg over this for co-op. And finally, Shields Up makes you take less damage when armored and also makes your armor last longer. It's very useful for surviving in boss fights if you're confident in managing your timer. When the game starts, you actually won't have a timer until you get your first kill. It is possible to have one player not get any kills and just do all the Easter egg steps, but honestly, I wouldn't recommend that since they won't have any points to upgrade their loadout for the boss fight. All the mystery boxes are active in the map, which is very useful for popping a wonder bar and spawn as soon as you get 950 points. If you get the map-specific wonder weapon, that's huge since you won't have to go through the rounds to build it. The ray gun can be useful on Liberty Falls and Terminus, but honestly, I prefer the GS45s personally. Wonder Fizz is also active starting on round 1, which makes it so you may not even have to open up some doors to get perks, and it also lets you get perks that aren't on that map. You get 50% extra essence from regular and melee kills, and double essence from headshots. And like I said earlier, this bonus does stack with double points. This can be extremely useful for pack-a-punching on lower rounds since you want to go into the boss fight as early as possible. I like popping profit sharing either on round 2 and just staying in spawn until it's done, or using it right after you pack-a-punch since you have more killing power then. You really only need 1, maybe 2 profit sharings on your whole team, so make sure you coordinate that beforehand. Both of the pizza power-ups are extremely useful, but you want to avoid this turtle power power-up since it forces your whole team to use melee weapons for 30 seconds. This can disrupt any Easter egg step that requires a wonder weapon and can even make it so you don't pick up a wonder weapon that you just pulled from the box. Similarly, you want to avoid grabbing insta-kill power-ups when you have an explosive weapon like the GS45. Insta-kill makes it incredibly difficult to only kill one zombie at a time, and you will likely flip through the rounds a bit quicker if you grab too many of them. Each map scales its timer a bit differently based on how low of a round they expect you to do the Easter egg on. On Liberty Falls, you have a 30-second timer on round 13, on Terminus it's round 16, and on Citadelle and the Tomb it's round 21. This means that you're likely going to go into the boss fight on different rounds for each map. I recommend trying to go in with 30-second timers if possible, and really trying to not go more than 2 rounds over that. Since you're trying to go in as low as possible, you likely won't have enough salvage to buy expensive streaks like choppers and mutant injections. This isn't as big of a deal though, since streak damage scales with the round, so lower rounds mean they don't do a ton of damage. As long as you have a blue pack 2 at the bare minimum, you should be fine. And if you need to go another round or 2 for purple or pack 3, it will be very useful and worth a slightly lower timer as long as it still isn't below 15 seconds. Since timeout does flip the round, I recommend trying to save it for when you really need it in a boss fight and just relying on your field upgrades to pause your timer during the regular match. Feel free to use Power Keg or the free full power on each map to help get your field upgrade back immediately. If you go down, your timer will still be ticking, so try to get kills if you can and have teammates revive you as quickly as possible. I find it immensely helpful to continue reminding teammates about armor and their timer throughout the entire game, but especially in boss fights. All it takes is one careless mistake to ruin these runs by letting your timer hit 0, which can be easy to do when there's a lot of other things to focus on in chaotic boss fights. In the end, if you take your time, remember to call out timers, and use your Gobblegums effectively, these cranked Easter eggs are a lot more manageable. Like I said earlier, I will be going more in depth with a video on each of the maps, so keep an eye out for those releasing soon. If you ever want help with anything zombies, I stream with viewers multiple times a week and have an active Discord community who are always helping each other out. If you found this guide helpful, let me know by dropping a thumbs up. And feel free to subscribe for more in-depth guides in the future.